Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us again. I feel like you look a little bit mannequin-y. your, your smile looks a little like,
Oh, because I'm like, are we gonna say our names? That's
yeah, but you could say hi first.
Oh, I did. That's the thing too, because now I've switched to my phone. I noticed with my computer, it worked a lot better. The like our overlapping sounds, but with the phone, it really like takes
Mm,
a second to like kick my voice in.
yeah,
So it's all those like little things that I'm like thinking about.
okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm so like incredibly grateful for people that are starting to tune in to us and like join us on the Ravelry group and stuff like that. It is, it's like it makes me like really excited to get to this day. And we were starting with filming on Thursdays before, but now we're doing it on Wednesdays. And I'm like, one less day to wait to get
It is. It's like really cool. And yeah, I mean, it's like I'm excited to, sort of guess that people might have watched more than one. And I'm like equally excited to think that like, oh, a new person might have found us today. Like, it's just, yeah, it's really cool. So I'm Tamu. I'm in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. You are?
Naledi from Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. And I keep looking out the window because I'm like, it's snowing outside.
It's snowing here too, but I feel like not like it's snowing for you.
It's just like wispy little. It's
Oh,
it's fun to look out at because it's like blowing around, but it's like really light little flakes. But we got a little bit of snow last night, so it really looks like Collingwood, Ontario, because that's what we're known for is our snowy season.
yeah. We just got a little dusting this morning.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are real life sisters, and welcome back to On the Lamb podcast. Sorry, I'm trying to put something on a holder because I want to show it, but I feel like it'll be harder to show on needles.
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? I'm wearing,
Oh, that's so pretty. All those colors. Oh my goodness.
that's my Adventures on the Wrong Side shawl.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, it's like also one of my favorites. I feel like it fits into the same category as the tilted cowl for me. Just like it's easy to wear because it's nice and big. It was I think a 1,200 yard cake, magic cake from Chelsea Yarns. They're cakes. They call their magic cakes big kahunas. I don't really understand why, but it makes me laugh. So yeah, it's just like an assortment, I believe, of their colorways, just sort of like this one is like more randomly placed together. And then yeah, my design, which is up on Ravelry. So just, yeah, big fun, pretty easy knit. I like it because there's no long purl rows. All the patterniness is on the wrong side. So
That was my first, not that one, but that was the first project you had me work on. Was another one of the. I don't know what the difference was in the weight.
it was a
Or what,
DK. So yeah, so this one was a magic cake, and then you did two using
oh yeah, I did do two.
Madeline Tosh twist. What do they call them? Tiny tails or something like that. They're like DK mini skeins. So the first one you did, which I still, again with the finishing, I still have not blocked them and taken pictures. No, the first one I blocked. Anyways, so the first one you did was one of their like put together sets. So it's 5 colors. I can't remember. I think it was called Road Trip. Whatever. So it's like, yeah, 5 mini DK skeins put together. And so you did like a very small version of this. And then the bigger version that you did, this was like a random assortment, not a random, but curated by me assortment of Madeline Tosh DK mini skeins that I just took from some mystery grab bags and some D-stash ones that I bought and kind of put them together in this gradient, which I really love how all of these colors, like it's kind of like, one transitions so kind of smoothly into the next one. And then these like pops of purple just to make it extra fun because I love me some purple. Yeah. This is like one that every time it's like been sitting on one of my kitchen chairs, because we were just talking about how my kitchen table is the hub of randomness in my house. It's been sitting on a kitchen chair for a really long time. And every time I look at it, I'm like, I gotta block that because I really want to wear it. I really want to photograph it and put it up with the pattern, but I also really just want to wear it because this looks super cozy. Especially now.
I was gonna say, yeah, I really enjoyed that knit. Like how common is it to find a pattern that is not like that you work the pattern stitches on the wrong side so that you can go back and knit on the right side?
I don't know of any patterns where it's the whole pattern like this.
Right.
So, without giving away too much, yeah, it's like I picked stitch patterns where the pattern itself, the interesting part, is worked on the wrong side because I just flippin' hate. I love the look of stockinette. I absolutely love an all knit fabric, but when you get down here and there's like 400 stitches, I do not want to purl 400 stitches in a row. It makes my brain hurt. It makes my fingers hurt. It makes me question whether or not it's worth it to finish what I'm working on. There's a really long tail still attached. I'm like, I'm being strangled. Yeah, so I was like, I want to knit this giant, because that cake, when it came, was like this big. And I was like, I really want to make a big shawl out of that because I just think it would look so crazy and so awesome, because I do think it looks crazy. And as I was getting to each color, like, you know, I knit the first color and I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. And then I put the second, I was like, I would never put these beside each other. Like, that's insane. And then you get to the next and you're like, what is happening here? But then when you see it all together, it's just kind of like a modeled, colorful, crazy mess. And you wrap it all around, it's just awesome. Anyways, so I was like, I really want to knit a shawl. But again, when you get down to these rows that are like literally from this corner all the way around, I was like, you couldn't pay me to purl that long. Like, no. It was like not happening. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. So
I don't get why you feel like that though, because the work end shawl has long, not mind you, it's not 400 stitches long, but has long rows of purling. It's just slower. Is that what the problem is for you?
It's slower. I just find it's slower, and it's more compared to how I knit, because I knit continental most of the time. I have started switching back and forth, so knitting continental and purling English style if I have a long stretch of purls. But I think, honestly, I kind of think the work end shawl ruined it for me, because that one was before Adventures on the Wrong Side, and the longest row, I counted the longest row, the very last row of the work end shawl is just over 400 stitches on mine, on my 170 gram version. That purl row was a slog. Like, it was like, and because I was also trying to get it done, I really wanted to release the pattern because I was very excited about it. And I was just like, this row will never end. Like, it just like I just want it to be finished. So yeah, I think that ruined it for me for a little while, at least. Yeah.
That's so funny, because for me, it's like I'm okay with the purling rows. I know I'm not gonna make a mistake on the purling row. For me, it's like the pattern row.
Yeah.
But I'm like anxious. I'm like, don't make a mistake, because then you're gonna have to frog it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I just found this. Yeah, this is like, I have another big magic cake that's like a neon kind of gradient, and I have
no, you're just so tangled in like the loose.
There's like, this tail is like this mess over here, but then it's also like wrapped around my neck. It's trying to strangle me. Yeah, I have another big magic cake, and I have like a mini cake set from Lolo Did It. That's just like a random assortment. I think it's like 8 colors. That both of them I kind of want to do another work end or another Adventures on the Wrong Side, because just fun knit. And then another feature of this knit that
I will do it. Oh, you want to actually do it?
That's the hard part, is like, it's fun to have you, like, you can knit things for me, but then there's like certain things that I just actually want to do it, even though I don't, like, I have so many things that I just want to do. It's like, I kind of want to do them though. another thing on this knit is when I got to so the edging, it's just like a garter stitch edge, like lots of shawls have. You just knit the first 3 stitches, no matter which side you're on. But then I got to the bind off and I was like, what bind off keeps that edge consistent? I could not find anything. So if this exists, I would love for someone to tell me, because I feel like I'm not the first person to have done this, but at the same time, I'm like, I could not find it. I don't know what it's called. But so I put up a tutorial video for how I did a garter edge bind off, almost like doing an I-cord bind off, just instead of wrapping it around to make it curly, you would knit it flat back and forth. But I put up a tutorial video. I've now changed it over so it's on the same channel as our podcast. I can't remember what I called it. Garter tab bind off or something.
Garter tab
it
bind
matches the garter to me. Garter tab cast on. Yeah. So that's what I had on today. I kind of want to keep this on. What you wearing today?
Well, a tank, but I don't have any details. I know it's designed by Boho Chic because I didn't make it. It's Boho Chic.
Yeah.
That's the name of the designer. And
I can't remember what the pattern's called. My mind has gone blank.
We'll have to put it in afterwards then.
Something tank?
Yeah, it's a tank. It's so cute. It's so not seasonably appropriate.
Stand up a little bit.
Pardon?
Stand up a little bit so you can see the bottom.
Yeah, but I'm wearing my sweatpants. Hold on, I'll try it. Awkward.
See if I can find it quick.
I'll try.
There you go.
Can you see the whole thing?
Oh, the Soul Sister tank.
Soul Sister tank.
Yeah. So Boho Chic, I absolutely love testing her patterns. I love her patterns in general, but I really enjoy testing for her because I just think she has like such cool style and yeah, just like really interesting stuff that I would not have thought of. It's not specifically written to be striped at the top like that, but
like that.
Yeah, it comes in 2 versions. So there's like a tank version and more like a tunic version. So it could have been longer. I think you increase the length of that middle section. The yarn was Barocco Maya, I believe. Hey, there's an end. You have tails too.
It's funny because I've worn it out twice and I forget. It's like when I go to put it on in the morning and then I'm like, oh crap. So I just like wind it around and tuck it away.
Yeah.
And then it falls out again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Barocco in the Maya line. And I can't remember what the colorways are called. If I can find them, I'll put them in. Excuse me. But I wanted the whole thing to be like more that lavendery purple color, or what's showing up kind of darker in the stripe section. But I could not anywhere in Canada find enough of it in one location. So I was like, I didn't want to order like one skein from there and one skein from there, because I'm like, then the thing's going to be super expensive just for shipping costs. Because if you're not in Canada and you don't know, shipping within Canada is like equally as expensive as shipping from the States to Canada. Like it's kind of ridiculous. So yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm going to like buy a $20 skein from here and pay $15 shipping and then a $20 and pay $15. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So I found like one skein of the purple somewhere that I ordered it mostly because I just wanted to see the color in person and see if I liked it before I went crazy. And then, yeah, the only other color I could find that I thought, oh, okay, well, at least I could kind of put them together was the gray. But yeah, I just love the construction of that one with the knit and then the crocheted, like the deep crocheted border on the bottom. I just think it makes it so cute and playful.
Yeah, it's very good. I would have also liked it in the like more of a color. I'm gonna get needs that because it's so sweet, but
excuse me.
Either way, it's gorgeous, and I love wearing it because people always will stop and be like, "Oh my gosh, what are you wearing? Who made that? Where'd you get it from?" Yeah, people love it. So I think I should make another one in another.
Yeah, color. I think it's really cute on you because I put it on and there's a picture on my Instagram, and I think on my pattern page, or project page. It was okay on me, but I should have made the bust area a little bit deeper because I found that kind of empire waist thing was like cutting off or kind of riding up. Excuse me, I need to blow my nose. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, I think it looks cuter on you. I'm glad I gave you that one.
Me too. Just keep on making things or buying things that don't fit you properly.
Nice. Okay. Finished objects?
Nope. Technically, well, this should have been this jerk, especially because I could have been finished it, but I played Yarn Chicken and I lost by like this much.
I hate
So
that.
bad.
I hate that when you're like, the end is so close. Just get there. Just grow longer.
This is okay. I've got this on the heater.
Don't set the basket on fire. That'd be embarrassing. Because you know I'm not cutting that out.
That'd be a great first little clip, though.
The basket's on fire.
Maybe I better just mute it. Okay. Anyhow, this has really been such a, I mean, not the biggest saga ever, but it's been a little bit, especially because now, I mean, you gave me a longer cord, a Knit Picks cord, and you couldn't give me the tips for them right away because you had them on the red wrap. It's so funny, these two projects being connected. Yeah. And then you put them in the mail for me, and I'm telling you, but really I'm telling everyone else what the story is. So Tama put the tips in the mail for me last Monday. Today is now Wednesday. So it's been.
Did I put them in last Monday, or didn't I put them in the previous, like Wednesday or Thursday?
Whatever it's
Either way, it's been far too long.
Yeah, usually a package from my house to yours takes, 2 at max 3 business days.
But it's not even a package. Like, it's not even like I express it. It was regular mail. Like, regular letter mail should take 2 to 3 days. It should have been there. Yeah, I guess it couldn't have been last week. It had to be the week before, because last middle of the week we were sick, like when Miles was with me. Right. So unless I did put it in on Monday, but I'm pretty sure I put it in the previous Wednesday because I thought it would get to you maybe by Friday at the latest Monday.
Right.
Of last week. I'm like highly annoyed because I feel like this is not the first time that things in the large letter mail department have gone missing from my post office. So I need to get down there and ask them what's going on, but it's a bit frustrating because they're not trackable.
So this is the cord the cord length that I've been working on. It's perfect. This section that I've been like squishing this whole thing on it. So I couldn't really properly measure because it's like normally for your bind off you want about 3 times the length. So I couldn't properly measure. That's why the Yarn Chicken thing, I couldn't predict how much I would need for the bind off.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then of course I had to go back, and then when I go to do it again, I was like, I don't want to waste a whole bunch of yarn, so I tried doing the bind off on the on the wrong side, and because there's yarn overs in the stitch pattern, like in the normal stitch pattern, it just didn't look right. So I don't know if you can see that. Really, can you tell?
I don't think your camera, I think when you do this view, your camera is not your camera, your screen is your camera. Because you look like you're like this.
Right, okay.
You're like, can you see that?
Because I'm trying to look at my square to be like, is it actually visible? But I should hold it up to the camera. Can you see that then?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be straight, flat.
Yeah, it's because you're doing, it's not, it'd be different if you were using like a different bind off, but because you're using that Icelandic bind off, it's not closing up those yarn overs the same way.
And it was okay when I did it on the other side.
Yeah.
On the right side. You had a
purl row to like.
Yeah, but it was trying to do it on the right side. So anyway, I'm like, I don't want to figure this out right now. It's Christmas weather outside, and I'm like just frustrated working on a Halloween shawl. Otherwise, though, I'm
It
like,
does look more Halloween-y now. I didn't think it was that Halloween-y, but yeah, it looks pretty Halloween-y.
as soon as you showed me the cake, I was like, oh, that's gonna be a really cool Halloween shawl. Yeah. Anyway, it really, especially the shape too. I mean, it's not the colors of candy corn, but that's what just it's like a funky candy corn.
A funky candy corn.
What?
A funky candy corn.
A funky candy corn. Anyway, so
that's what we're gonna call your project on Ravelry.
I'll
put it on your Ravelry. We'll call it funky candy corn.
If and when it ever makes it up. Anyway, I think unless you're desperate to get it and to like photograph it now, and I know you have a plan to send it to KnitPicks, but if you are not desperate for it, I think like I want to try and finish it because I'm like, you will not defeat me. Like I'm your master. I need to
bow down to me, Shawl.
Yes. And especially this because it's not a difficult knit, but it was easy to just forget to like do the passover stitch. And so then if I usually could catch on the purl side and then easily correct it, but if I did purl right past it, it meant having a frog back. You can't ladder down to fix the problem. You just make a bigger problem. So I would have I got to the point of having 2 lifelines in at all times. Yeah, I will. I think unless you have a timeline, I've got to finish the shawl.
I would say if those needles don't magically appear before you're back at my house, then just bring it with you and then you can probably just finish those 2 rows here with needles.
Right. Well, I can do it on that one. It's not a problem. I was doing it. That's the problem I've been having is not to do with the cord.
Yeah.
Having it scrunched up, but yeah. Okay. Your FO that you...
I have FOs.
Oh.
Like a boss. Because we have been sick at my house for 7 days. 7 freaking days. And it's actually been longer than that. It's just 7 days that we've been actually partially out of commission. Like yesterday was the first day that I didn't have anybody home with me. And I felt like garbage all day. It's just like, I hate it. But it's like, we seriously went from, I'm very confused by the weather right now. It was snowing this morning. Sorry, it's like random thought. It was snowing this morning. If I look forward out my front door, the little window at the top, the sky is quite dark. If I look at my deck, it is a summer day. It's so sunny on the deck and so dark out front. I'm just like, what is happening?
Yesterday was 8 degrees.
Yeah.
We went to the park by the beach.
Yeah.
In splash pants. Today is like, I don't know, a couple inches of snow in like beautiful winter wonderland out there.
Fall in Canada.
Yeah.
We've been sick for 7 flipping days. And really it's been longer than that because we all had like colds before that. Then they evolved into worse colds, which is the start of when people started staying home from school. Then they turned into stomach bugs over the weekend. And now I feel like I'm getting a cold again. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I was like super low energy. I was like super low energy Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, mostly because people were waking up all night, coming into my bed, coughing on my face while I sleep. It's the worst. It's not nice to wake up to someone actually coughing up a lung like 2 inches from your face. And I'm like, thank you so much right now. Oh, terrible. And I was like, well, I guess I'm getting sick now. Anyway.
That's when I end up having to apologize in the morning because that's not specifically happened, but if I get woken up abruptly, I say mean things.
I haven't done or said anything that I know of. Not nice, but I know I definitely wake up a lot like, but
well, that's what I mean. Like just something like that, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just like,
yeah,
childish.
Yeah. But most of the time they're asleep, so they have no idea that I'm giving them dirty looks and rolling over begrudgingly. Anyways, so at first I was like, so Wednesday, Thursday, I was like oddly productive because Miles just wanted to like sit on me. And you can see him in the last podcast when we recorded on the Wednesday. He was like, he had had a fever and was coughing a lot and stuff. So that's why he didn't go to school, even though he was still quite energetic. He would just wanted to be on me the whole time. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to sit here and knit. So first FO from that couple of days was red wrap. Ta-da! Now with buttons.
Oh, I think you were going to do darker buttons.
No.
I talked about doing darker buttons.
No, I showed you these buttons.
Yeah, I just put it in my head that something about I remember the steel buttons or something like that, but that was for something.
Oh, that was for the other thing.
Right.
For the Stranger Things one. These were a hand woven fabric from, I think it's the Rosie Deer on Instagram, and her Etsy shop is something kind of similar. I'll put it in the notes. That I got her to make for me.
Right.
That I think are
she was originally had the magnets.
Yeah.
To make the buttons.
So I was playing around with it last night because, again, so I finished it, blocked it. It would have been dry and ready, and I could have just woven in ends and put on buttons on Friday to wear Friday night. But then by Friday, everyone started to get this stomach bug. And I was like, I can't send kids with bad stomachs to grandparents' house. Yeah. So I was like, I can't send them to their house. Plus then I was starting to feel sick. So I was like, I was starting to feel sick. And partially I was like, I don't want to go to the Christmas party and spread around my sickness. But I also, 2 Christmas parties ago or 3 Christmas parties ago, the year that I went that I was pregnant with Miles. So I guess 3 or 4, I don't know, whatever, a few years ago. I was like super grumpy that day. Like I was quite pregnant. So he's due in December. So Christmas party would have been late November, possibly early December. And his birthday is December 22nd. So I was just like so grumpy. I felt miserable all day, but I thought it was just like pregnant lady grumpy, that I was just like, I'm big and it's cold and I hate life and I don't want to dress up and I don't really want to go to the Christmas party. And I was just like, and I didn't feel well. Like I just like, my stomach felt tight, like not my belly, but like my actual stomach felt tight. And I was just like, but I thought, you know, whatever. Pregnant, I'm not a pleasant pregnant lady. I don't really enjoy being pregnant. I didn't have great experiences for a variety of reasons. So I was just like, whatever. I assumed it was just me. So I got ready, I got dressed. I actually looked really cute because I actually bought like a maternity dress, that white and black stripy one. It was so cute. I liked it. I'll, if I can find the picture.
Yes. I
was cute. I wish I had had a chance to wear that dress more than once. And I bought it like on sale at Time for like $20 or something like that. And I was like, this is a cute dress. If I can pop in a picture, I will. Anyways, whatever. I put on my smiley face and I made nicey with people. And I got to salad, the first course. I ate salad and then I was like, and now I'm going to be sick. And like ran to the bathroom, was very violently ill, and then was like sweating. And you know, when you're like really sick, when you have like a bad flu and you're just like, you go from totally fine to a hot friggin' mess in like 3 seconds. I was like, I'm like dying. I was like, what am I going to do? Like in the bathroom at a restaurant, like so pregnant, and just like someone just zapped me home because I don't know what I'm going to do right now. So, one of the other wives, actually the owner's wife, and one of the other wives came in looking for me because apparently I was gone that long. And we're like, are you okay? I was like, not really. So I talked to my husband.
Just
like,
picture you like turning around and be like, no, I'm not okay. And you like went from cute to like,
yeah. Yeah, my face is melting. I don't wear a lot of makeup, so it's not like, you know, foundation running and stuff, but it's just like, you know, you just have that glow of someone who just vomited violently. Like, it's not a good look. So I was like, I think I'm going to have to go home. So, you know, confer with my husband and was like, so he is coming to the tail end of taking over the company, not taking over, makes it sound like a piece of pirate. He's like taking over, of purchasing the company that he had previously worked for with a business partner. And that was like the first year of them getting going on that. So it was like, he really wanted to be at that Christmas party. He was kind of co-hosting that year and like, la, la, la. So I was like, no, you stay. I'll just drive myself home. You get a ride home with someone else. This is the worst friggin' plan ever. And the restaurant was not that far from our house. It was just like maybe, 10 minutes or so of a drive. I was like, window open, like heavy breathing the whole time. I was like, don't puke in the car. Don't puke in the car. You just have to get there. Like, ran into the house, was like super sick the rest of the night. Like, it was a really bad 24-ish hours. Thank goodness my oldest was sleeping over at his aunt and uncle's house because I was not in good shape. Anyways, so fast forward to this year. As soon as my stomach started to feel tight, I was like, I'm not going. I was like, I can't risk getting the flu at the Christmas party again. It's just not happening. So I didn't actually, as much as I rushed to finish this project, I didn't even get to wear it. So it actually sat on the blocking mat for the rest of the weekend. And I popped it off and sewed on the buttons last night because that's how you do. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's really, really nice and stretchy. So although I feel like it looks like it's fitting snugly, it doesn't feel too tight. The buttons mostly fit through the buttonholes. They're a little bit snug, but I actually kind of like that because in the past I've had things where I make the buttonholes too big and then it's hard to keep the buttons in. So I kind of like that I have to really like gently finesse them through because then they will stay on. So I feel like I can turn this around. I can put the buttons at the back. I can do different things. Yeah, I think it'll be a nice like holiday piece to have.
Yeah, that I like that. How it's
like so simple, like, and that's I think what I like about it the most is I was really trying to like do something fancy, but you know, sometimes I'm definitely guilty of like, I like the process of knitting the fancy thing, but I don't always think about like what it'll look like when it's on. And then you put it on and it all scrunches up and you're like, now you can't see any of the stitch pattern, which I'm okay with most things, but it's like for, you know, something that if you want to be able to dress it up a little bit, like, you know, wear this over a nice dress, I could wear it over. So the dress I was going to wear has a bit of pattern to it. So I could wear it over that dress and not feel like, okay, there's so much going on here and now there's so much going on my dress and whatever. So my, excuse me, I'll just fill it with my germs. My father-in-law's 85th birthday. Yeah, 85th birthday party is coming up in a couple weekends. So I will probably wear it there, even though it'll probably be stinking hot in their house. I'll just, you know, I'll sweat through. Yeah. Anyways, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so that's one FO. So once that was done, I was like, okay, well, still got sick kids. I was starting to feel, not good. So I was like, okay, what am I going to work on now? And then, of course, test knits and cowls started popping up. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do that. So this I knit in 24 hours, less than 24 hours. I was quite impressed with myself. And I was like, that's how you do a sick day. So this hat is by apparently one of my new favorite designers. Again, Sweater Freak Knits. So she is the designer of that tilted cowl that I won't stop wearing. So the I want to say it's called Tri-City Knits podcast. I'll pop it down. I think it's Tri-City Knits podcast, and they have a Ravelry group, and I guess they do a hat knit along every year where they kind of partner with a couple of designers, and if you join the knit along, you can get those patterns for free. So this is Sweater Freak Knits' new, I believe it's like her newest hat pattern. And so I was able to get that for free through that knit along. And yeah, it's a really, really fun knit. You know, this much is kind of like just knitted. This much is a chart that was like fairly easy to follow. The only thing, and I noticed it after I posted the picture of the hat like laying flat, and then Jenny from Sweater Freak Knits reposted it so I could see it kind of side by side with either one of her hats or another one that she reposted from someone else. I did these cables wrong. So this row and this row up here are cabled, and I reversed the cable. And the worst part is, like, the whole time I was knitting it, I kept looking at the pattern and looking at what I knit and going, I think I flipped the cables, but then I'm like, no, they look right. And it was because I was looking at them like, here, this is right, but it should be like leaning away from each other, but here. So it kind of like opens up this little diamond shape and then closing this little diamond shape. And it wasn't until I like laid it flat and saw the pictures side by side that I was like, son of a nutcracker. Like, I can't believe, I'm like, I knew I did it wrong. And I like looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and for whatever reason could not see what the problem was. And I even went to other people's pictures to like look at those and look at this, but it wasn't until you saw the whole shape that that's when I could identify it. Like, now it's driving me bonkers, like just wearing it. So I did wear it to school drop off the other day because I was like, again, not feeling so good on Monday when one of my kids went back to school and the other one stayed home. I was not feeling well at all. So I was just like, oh, put a hat on and then nobody can see me. I'm invisible clearly when I put this on. So I was like wearing it, and the whole time I'm wearing it, I'm going, I wonder if it's obvious that the cable is reversed. And I feel like it's like not that noticeable, like unless you know, but it's driving me crazy. And it's actually like, because I really enjoy this Yarn Enabler little gradient cake that I got from the KW Knit Fair, and I totally bought it on a whim. I had no plan for it, but I was like looking for, it's supposed to be a DK weight hat. And I was thinking about, okay, what do I have in DK weight? Cause I tend to just have lots of random skeins of DK and worsted. And I was like, I had lots of other stuff I could have knitted in, but I had a lot of stuff that was very speckly. And I was like, oh, I don't want to lose the pattern. And I was like, oh yeah, I have this. This is like perfect. And I love it so much that I'm like, I actually now feel like I'm going to have to frog it out and reknit from friggin' here up. I'm like so mad. I'm mad, but I'm like kind of happy because it was an enjoyable knit. But
I really like it. Just worked out so well that like the gradient works with each section too. And I have to knit this hat because it's like you've made me a couple of hats. We have large hair, so very small head, but very large hair. So you have to like consider that with a hat.
Yeah.
And I requested some like slouchy hats from you, so that's what you've made me. But like I need a beanie. I really want a beanie for like when your hair is down, you just want to look a little bit cute, but also warm. Okay, so I'm gonna be purchasing. That's gonna be that might be my first like actual purchase pattern.
Or you could join the knit along and then
Is it still?
The knit along goes to December 20th, which is why I knit this one first.
I don't have yarn for it. And I don't have a store. What am I gonna do? I gotta go to Barry now. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, the knit along goes to December 20th. So,
okay.
For you, for anybody else, if I happen to get this up in time. Oh, yeah, December 20th. I was like, look, I looked at the calendar on the computer. I was like, oh no, it's the 22nd of November. Sorry, with this hat. What I did was actually, thankfully, someone I know, Wendy, who is creating Beauty in the Dawn on Instagram. She's local to me and she's lovely. She had test knit. She's like a test knitting machine. She had test knit this pattern. So I was like, oh, Wendy's already knit this. So I went and looked at her notes, and she had put in how for her head, she had increased the kind of purl section at the top. And she said in future, if she knit it again, she would increase it even more to make it a little bit more slouchy for her. So taking that cue, I did add some sections as well, and I put them in my project page notes. But now having it on, I really like a hat that totally covers my ears, and you can see how my hair is like pulling it up. You can just see a little bit of earlobe. So I will, for that reason, and the cables being messed up, I feel like I will frog it back because I have like a little nugget of the lightest color left that I was like, oh, maybe I'll make a pom-pom. But I think what I'll do is add even more purl rows and see if I can make it not so much slouchy, but just that I can pull it down just a wee bit further. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm really happy. Again, this is a Yarn Enabler worsted weight gradient cake. It was called Subtle Is My Style, and I just think it's so pretty. Like,
it is so pretty.
Just such a, I don't know, the camera's like really blowing it out. The lights today is really blowing it out, but it's kind of like a really subtle, I would say like a lavendery purple, and then it transitions just a little bit more blue, and then it goes with very pale mint. And I just think it's like looking at it in the cake, I was like, oh yeah. And then like looking at it on the hat, I was like, I don't know if these are really my colors, but then I like put it on and I just feel like, you know, like generally I would gravitate to something stronger, something darker, something like brighter, like more neon-y or whatever, but I just think this is really pretty. Yeah. nice to have like a pretty option. Anyways, so that's the hat that I knit in less than 24 hours. I was quite impressed with myself. And it's just like, I really like a not super complicated, but interesting chart. So it was like, you knit one row of the chart and you're like, all right, one more row. All right, one more row. All right, one more row. And then I was like, oh, wait, the chart's done. I'm like, oh, well, I'm almost halfway through the hat and it's only the first day. And then one of my whips that I didn't actually bring up, I also started a hat test knit for Celine Knits. She's a French designer, and yeah, it's really cool. It's going to be a really cool hat. All I got was like a really non-impressive twisted rib brim. And then I realized that I wanted to have it on Chow Goose, but I didn't have any 4mm Chow Goose tips. So I ordered some from Little Red Mitten. So yeah, once I switch the tips over, then I can get back to that one. My last FO, I think it's the last one that I still have on the blocking mat because I blocked it last night. Ba-bam!
It's done.
I'm going to unpin it and slap it on, but I had to show you how. I was like determined to get the eyelet section at the bottom like really blocked out because I noticed on mine, I wasn't as aggressive about blocking that particular section. I was just more trying to get the whole thing to even fit on the blocking mats because it was so large. And now that eyelet section is like shrinking back up. Like every time I wear it, I feel like it gets a little bit tighter again. So I really need to like go back and re-block that one to get that section to open up a bit more. So that's why I kind of pinned the SH out of this one, trying to make sure that it was really done. Anyway, so what I was saying before about the non-finishing.
Will that stay like that?
No, I'll weave those in. But it's like, this is what I often do. And I don't know if anybody else does this. I don't really know what the preferred method is, but I often weave in my ends after blocking as opposed to before. I'm not really sure if there's a right way to do it, but most of the time I'm like, I just want to see it blocked. I don't really care about weaving in the ends. But now that it's blocked and I'm like, oh, I want to wear it, I better weave in those ends because obviously
I guess it would make sense to block first.
I don't know, because I feel like if you wove in your ends and you didn't make them ridiculously tight, if there were any spots where you had like pulled a stitch funny, you could fix it when you block.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, on one hand, for me, I'm like, it kind of works to do it after blocking because then the stitches are kind of more spread out and I can kind of weave it in nicely. But then I don't know what's the right way or if there is one preferred method, but.
Or maybe weave in, but don't actually cut them yet or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But why was I thinking that? So that when you block, you don't like end up pulling the stitch back out or something. I don't know, but you shouldn't.
Yeah. You shouldn't. Yeah. If that happens, that's a problem. So it's not quite as large as my first one, which I knew would be the case because I didn't do all the sections as big as what the pattern called for. So I'm not super surprised at all, but I'm quite happy with it. And I feel like it falls the way I predicted it would, where like the middle funhouse craziness is kind of swallowed up by the bigger pink section. So it's not as like obvious, but I kind of like that, like a little bit more of this is showing than I feel like I'm like, hey, look at my boobs. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy with it. I like that this yarn. So the yarn that I used for my other one is the Koigu, and this is a Yarn Enabler mini skein set called Flamingo to go with my 100 Days of Flamingo yarn project. And it's much lighter than the other one. So this will be nice in the spring. Have like a little throw on. I mean, I could definitely wear it in the winter too with like a jacket or whatever. Whereas the other one, the Koigu and the Mineville wools yarns that I used are just a little bit heavier for a fingering weight than this base is. So they, sorry, camera adjusting. Yeah, they're just a little bit heavier. So when it's, not quite as cold as it is today, but when it's kind of chilly outside, but not cold, I can kind of wear it in place of a coat with like a long sleeve shirt. Whereas this one, I feel like I would be chilly if I did that. Anyways, I like it. I think it's
cool. It's really fun. Yeah, it turned out really well.
Bye-bye.
I still feel like looking at it, I would have liked just that yellow section to be just yellow.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure, like I said, how I felt about like a whole yellow. Like this, if this whole section had been yellow, then I feel like I would look like I don't know.
Oh yeah, not there. But if you had wear it exactly
Continue
where
the yellow stripe down. Yeah, I think it could have gone. Like
yeah,
if
it's
I
not
had
wrong.
broken it up with doing yellow and black all the way through here, I think that would have been okay. Initially, I think I had thought about doing this section all yellow, and
Right. Yeah,
that
no, I don't
that
think
I
I
think
would have
would have
liked
been too
that.
much, but I'm happy. I kind of just like that it's just this little pop of yellow because it's like it's drawing the eye in without overpowering. And again, it's just yellow is not generally a color I gravitate towards, so I kind of like that it's just a little ray of sunshine. And when I think about flamingos, like yellow is not a predominant color
It's not,
to
no.
think of,
But
right? So it's
I
like,
think I mean not having it striped with the black. Like a small band, but not striped with black. Because black and yellow to me is bumblebee.
yeah.
Yeah.
That section is supposed to be like striped though,
I
like
know.
with that ridge. So I don't know what I would have done if it was all yellow. I feel like you would have lost that bit of like texture.
Yeah, maybe.
They're like a raised
Right.
because the way you like work them, they're kind of
Right.
raised up a little bit more. So I don't know, but I
It's
like it.
gorgeous. Yeah, yeah, it's gorgeous. That was just my like 2 cents. I love yellow though. I have like actually the shirt I was wearing last night is just like all bright yellow. So
Anyways, I think that's it for my finished objects. I feel like we talked for a really long time about finished objects.
I said that was a long talk, yes.
All right. What else?
Ooh, can I say, is it possible to talk about like things you've learned that you really love?
Okay, talk about whatever you want.
It's back to this again. I learned so many things, but I did spit splicing. You ever heard that before?
I feel like I have, but I want to hear you talk about it because I feel like what I thought it was or what I think of when you say that is wouldn't work the same on that yarn. We'll see. Anyways, tell me
Okay.
what you did.
So, because I was working with the two cakes and they were just slightly different, there was like a considerable amount more in one of the cakes than in the other. Like
Hmm.
they were not exactly the same length, and it was like, yeah, not like a huge amount of yardage, but enough. So when I was getting to the end playing yarn chicken, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this ball is done, and the other one still has a fair amount of yarn left.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, maybe that'll help me get to the end of the project if I like join the two together, and maybe
Yeah.
I'll be able to finish it. Anyway, so I had remembered our stepmom had sent me that, or had sent us that thing, like try the Russian knot, whatever, next time you need to join yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into that, and I just noticed like the when you join it, that section looks really really thick, and I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want that. So somehow that, oh, I think it's because the Very Pink Knits. That's the tutorial that I went to. I like her videos because she's like really like is like really clear instructions, and they work for me every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next suggestion for her videos was the spit. Oh no, she actually said it in the video. This is really thick. Normally I would use the spit splicing for an animal fiber, but she's like, I can't for this one. It's not animal fiber. So I was like, well, I looked at my label for the knit pick since it was 75% merino, 25% nylon. I was like, I'm gonna just check out their video and see what it looks like. And it's like really pretty because it just looks like you can't even tell the join if you do it
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
So so then when I'm talking about this, do you know what I'm talking about, the split splicing then, or do you want me to describe it?
You can describe it.
Okay, so you have to like unravel the fiber, because usually it's like, I'm not good at describing this stuff still because I'm still too new into knitting again. But if you like each, strand of yarn that you would be working with is made of
Flies.
smaller, yeah, it depends on the ply you're working with. So this one was a 4-ply. There's like 4 strands twisted together per strand of yarn, or per whatever strand
Yeah.
of yarn. So you have to like unravel them. So in this case, you cut half of them. So there were four plies.
Yeah.
I cut 2 off about 1 inch of length, same as the other one. It just reminded me of like electrical wiring.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing on the other strand. Bring the two together like this. And then I think what got me, I was like, I gotta try this, because you get your saliva all over it, and apparently it can't be with water. There's something about saliva that makes it actually, it kind of adds adhesive to it. And then you palm roll them together, and I was like, well, that is fun for me too, because it reminds me of like part of our dreadlocking process, you know, the palm rolling. And it was amazing, like the strength of the fibers together really, like, I even had to frog back, and when I went back I could not tell where I spliced the two together. So now when I get to the end of the ball yarn, you can't even tell, like it's one continuous loop of yarn now. I don't know why. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. That's the end of the yarn. Like, it's not two strands anymore, it's all just one thing. So I just thought that was really cool to try the spit splicing together. It didn't help me solve my problem. I still went on yarn, but it was just fun doing that.
The reason I was surprised that it would work is because I always thought of that as something that you would use on something that felts, because essentially what you're doing is like kind of felting the yarn together. So, but what you're working with is superwash wool and nylon. So like nylon's plastic, it's not supposed to felt together, and that wool should be treated so it shouldn't felt together. So I was like assuming that it would kind of like stay together and then probably start to unravel. So I'm like, I'm surprised that it worked.
Maybe then at some point, but anyways, my saliva had a chance to dry by the time I needed to frog back out, and and I couldn't tell where it happened. I apologize if at some point, maybe after washing. But I'm assuming like once you actually like knit it up, and you know what, there's potential that when either one of us has to go back and do, if you're going to still use the Icelandic bind off and do it on the right side, you're gonna end up cutting it off anyway.
Maybe
because there's just, unfortunately, there's gonna, unless you have other black you want to use to transplant. Much waste.
If you think it gets cut off, we should just like knit a swatch and throw it in the wash and see if it does come out, and see what it would look like, because anyways, interesting.
Maybe I ended up doing like 2 inches of length. She said 1 inch, and I ended up doing a bit more. Only my measurement was just off. That's no other reason why. Anyhow.
I just think it's neat because there's like so many ways to do things, you know, like so many ways to join in colors and to fix those little issues, and you just have to figure out what works for you or what makes sense to you. Because that Russian join that our stepmom sent us, I have tried it before. I like it okay. I just find it like it's a pain in the butt too. So if you've never done it before, it's kind of like, you know, hooking your 2 strands together and then taking the tail from the same strand and working it back on itself. So that's how you kind of like link them together. It's okay, but I just found it like, I have to like go and pull out my darning needle to do it. I've also used like a magic knot where you kind of like make 2 knots that like lock together. It's like, okay, but then you have a knot there. And, you know, I've done the like leave a tail and like knit with the tail and the working yarn together. And then you have like sometimes thicker stitches like that, depending on your work, can be a little bit more visible, or I'll sometimes get like looseness on the first stitch. It's like, you know, depending on each situation will depend on what I do. You know, so it's nice to just have lots of different techniques, or know where you can go to find different techniques kind of in your back pocket, so that you can try different things and see how you like them and see how they work for those different projects.
Right. Anyways, what was the original question that you asked me? And I was like, no, I want to talk about this.
Oh, whips.
Oh, yeah. So I do have a whip finally, other than that shawl. It's crochet project, Christmas project. So I'm working on the stocking. So that I showed this last week. That's Clark's adorable stocking for Christmas. So I need to do 4 more. And I started with the snowman for Morgan. The only thing is I didn't realize the yarn you used, and there's nothing special about it. It's just like crafting synthetic.
Just like Red Heart or Bernat. We have a shop in Cambridge here called Cambridge Fibers, I think. And they do a lot of like mill ends. So you can go for the same price of one like big hank of say Red Heart or Bernat, just regular acrylic, you can get a bag of like 3 partial ones that actually equals more than one hank. So for things like this, where I'm like, I don't really know how much yardage I need of each color. I just know I need a lot of these 3 colors or these 4 colors. Or if I'm doing like a blanket or something like that, I'm like, it's perfect because you know they're all going to be the same generally. I don't know, as far as I know. I've never had a problem with them all being sort of the same dye lot or the same color. It's just like, you know, as they're making up the hanks, these are ones that came off and they ran out and they didn't want to put a join there. So they just, you know, they're all the partial ones. It's friggin' amazing. So I think, the price might be on the bag. I think it was like, say $5.99 or $8.99 or something like that. Usually it's like handwritten with like Sharpie on the front of the bag.
Oh, this just says 4 in a circle.
Oh, it was just how many balls were in there, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I want to say it's like around the same price as one normal size hank. But like, look at that red hank. That's like almost the exact same size as our full size one. It's probably just a little bit short. And then there were multiple bags in there or multiple skeins in there, multiple hanks in there. Anyways, I just think it's like such an amazing deal for that. And they have other stuff too. I have bought undyed wool there for like playing around with dyeing. It was like a ridiculously huge, like one giant continuous huge, I don't even know, not even skeined, like just a giant loop of wool. So I had to divide it up myself, but whatever. It was like, I don't even know, $25 for I want to say it was like, I don't even remember. I don't know. Way too big. A lot of wool. And they also have like another thing that I always will grab there now, instead of going anywhere else, pillow forms. They have pillow forms there. Like a little square one is like $5. You go to Walmart, that's like $20. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy how much cheaper it is there. Because there's been a few times where I thought, you know, I want a pillow, or we have like weird shaped, like we bought like a bedspread thing from IKEA that came with very large square like throw pillow covers for your bed. And I was like, what am I going to stuff this with? And that big pillow at Walmart was, in my opinion, expensive for a pillow that I'm not even going to sleep on. And then I went to Cambridge Fibers and I think they were like 10 or $12. And I was like, yeah, buddy.
Buy all the pillows.
Buy all the pillows.
The black is craft smart. Anyway, so maybe that's what the difference is. They are slightly different.
Yeah. I can't remember what the smart one is from. I want to say it's from Michael's, but I can't recall.
That doesn't say on here. I don't know. Anyhow.
I think Michael's.
Yeah, Michael's. That does say Michael's store. What? Anyway, so this one, you can tell it's like a bit softer of a yarn, this brown. It's a bit lighter weight. And anyway, so I didn't really think about that when I was casting on the snowman. So I did the same number of stitches, but it came out much wider. Not much wider, like maybe half an inch wider. And I don't know why, but I was like, I don't want Clark's to be the only small one forever. And
it's honestly, it's just that beige. I think whatever brand that beige actually is, it is a different, like it's not the same as the other ones, but it was like the only one that was the right gingerbready brown color.
Yeah, it's the right color of brown. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. So this is just gonna, I know that I'm gonna end up taking this all apart again. I just want to like play with the starting of it and seeing, but I like decreased a bit. What?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you should leave it though, because I was like gonna say the way that the black stacks on top of the white, it does make it look more like a hat because you decreased.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see. I just, it's sort of, to me, right now it's looking like Toadstool from Super Mario Brothers.
I'm not sure.
The mushroom guy. Anyway, and then I was like, because I knew I was just playing around and I might go back, I was like, maybe I could put a brim on the hat too. It's not really showing. I need to make it wider for it.
You can see it a little bit on the sides though.
And then the other thing is,
it looks kind of perfect.
What's that?
I think it looks good.
It's cute. Yeah, I think I want to make the brim just maybe like even one more round. I don't want it to be like huge and floppy, but like it needs to be noticeable, but I need to figure out a way to get it to stay up. I don't know if I need to like maybe make an extra stitch at the corner so it actually sticks out a bit more, but I need to play with that, or sew in like a bit of a wire cord or
Did you
something.
just like stitch around? Like so like at the sides, did you do any kind of increase to make it a little bit wider to get around that turn?
No, that's what I just said. I think I'll need to do that. That's what when I actually, because I wasn't reading anything about it. I was like, I'm just gonna pick it up and start playing.
Yeah.
But I definitely noticed that. Like that's part
Yeah,
of what.
it'll pull it down, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll start the brim again for sure. Anyways, that's my snowman starting. I was like, look, Morgan, I'm starting your stocking because it just looks like this. He was like,
Yeah.
have some breakfast, please. I was like, I'm impressed. Jason was like, oh, cool, yeah, it's starting. Morgan doesn't care. It'll be once it's done, then he'll be excited.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyhow, so that's finally doing something different after 2 weeks on that shawl. And it's like, crocheting is just so fast and amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my only whip. Oh, that's not true. I did work on your socks a bit more too, but I won't even show that because I'll wait till there's 2 socks.
You can show sock whips.
Yeah, I could, but I've shown it before. It's just a vanilla sock, and I'll show it when there's a bit more to show. I was more excited about this, yeah. And now we'll do the rest of the episode like this. No, I won't.
If it would stay, I would say go for it, but I feel like keep falling. Just hold it. Okay. Let's do easy whip. I am very nearly done my flamingo leg warmer sock. So again, just my pattern that I'm whipping up. So very vanilla toe up for the foot, except, so like the needles are in because I really just need to bind off. But I want to do a tubular bind off and I just didn't have it in me the last few days. I did a Fleagle heel. So serious props and thank you to Bernadette from, or I guess sort of now formerly from the Wet Coast Wools podcast for showing so many socks with this Fleagle heel, because every time I saw them, I was like, I don't get it. What? Like her socks were very, like a lot of the socks that I saw anyways, were so patterny. I couldn't really see what the heel was, but all I kept hearing was toe up sock, Fleagle heel, toe up sock, Fleagle heel. And there was like, okay, I got to look this up because I don't understand what that is. Because normally when I do a toe up sock, I would either do a short row heel or an afterthought heel, which is basically a short row heel, or similar idea, and similar shape. So my socks fit me okay, but I know they don't fit as well as they could, and they don't fit me as well as a top down, like flap and gusset kind of heel do. And I knew there was a way to add a gusset on a toe up sock. Kate Atherley, I believe, has like a really good tutorial on it, but there was like a lot of words. And the time that I looked it up, I was like not in the mood to read all that. So I was like, oh, I'll just come back to it another time. Anyways, this is the most ridiculously simple heel. No counting.
Really?
No math. Like there, you could, if you really wanted to like go into it crazy, you could do it mathy and whatever. The only thing that I messed up is I think I just got excited to go back in the round and I missed one decrease on both sides, but it actually like it fits me totally fine. So I don't even care. Yeah, I don't want to tell you all of how to do it, but it is basically like a gusset and then a turn, and that's it. It's increases and then decreases, and that's it. And I'm like, thank you, Bernadette, for the Fleagle heel. Because I probably wouldn't have found it on my own. I was not in the researching heels at that point. I do have like a sock book that I think Tracy had talked about on the Grocery Girls, and I'd grabbed it at some point, that has a number of heels that you can do for toe-up socks, but they're all kind of ones I've tried before and nothing too new or exciting and whatever. So I kind of just went back to my old faithfuls because they require zero thought. But yes, this unless I want a contrast color for my heel, this will be the heel that I will use.
Unless you want a contrast. Okay,
So
because
an afterthought, you can get that contrast color in there.
Right.
Doing it, excuse me, I have the hiccups. Doing it only once, I can't think right now of like how I could do it with a contrasting color. Like my brain can't go there just yet. There probably is a way at least to do like this part, this wedgie, the turn part in a contrast color. But I mean, at least with this yarn, I don't feel like it needs it. I don't think it messed up.
No, I actually like how that
turned
out, but when I've seen them other times, I don't love the interruption with the pattern.
Yeah.
For the the self-striping.
Yeah. But I think it would depend on the yarn. So normally for a self-striping yarn, I probably would have done an afterthought heel. These were kind of an experiment sock to see what I wanted to do for this pattern. So then I can work it up with this yarn again to just test it out. And then with another yarn to kind of do, like I want to do this part much, much longer. But I just kind of wanted to experiment with this yarn. And see how I liked this stitch pattern with the self-striping, which I don't feel like it's not the best, but they're quite comfy at least. This yarn is like the base is a little bit thicker. I can't talk. I think the dyer is Snitches, but like SKNIT Snitches. Flamingo Nights.
Oh, it took me. I'm like, why would you do that? No, I got it. A little bit slower.
Wheels are turning. Yeah, I think the dyer is Snitches and the colorway is called Flamingo Nights. And they actually they're quite comfy because it is a fingering weight, but it's a little bit heavier than a lot of the fingering weights that I have knit with before. So yeah, it's nice. 2.5. I think these are Haya Sharps. Yeah, Haya Sharp needles. Nothing too fancy beyond that, but yeah, I'm quite excited. They're very nearly done. I just have to do that bind off and then do the second one. Ta-da! And then, excuse me, I forgot one. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. It's behind the computer. I'll show you this one next. So, new bag. This is knit 1, crochet 2, I think. I was going to put the card in. I did put the card in. No, crochet 1, knit 2 on Etsy and Instagram. I have been eyeing this maker fabric for way too long. There's another bag maker who kept showing it in like a mustard color with the words dark. And I don't know what it was about that mustard color. I'm not like a huge fan of mustard, but I was like, that mustard color, I just gotta have it. So I kept like waiting and biding my time and like, waiting for the right chance. Anyway, so then Wendy, I think is my like knit enabler sometimes. Wendy had a bag with this fabric or something with this fabric and I saw it on her feed. So I asked crochet 1, knit 2, and I can't think of her real name. It's not on there. If she had any more or if she could get it in the mustard. She had more of it in the dark. So I was like, yeah, let's go with the dark. And I'm actually quite happy I did because I feel like that mustard would show dirt a little bit more than this might. And then we talked about interior colors and I'm so in love with this fabric.
I thought it was candies, but
it's just like little shapes. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a Tula Pink fabric though, and I really love Tula Pink's fabrics. She's like for people who are into fabric, a pretty well-known fabric designer. Like she designs the patterns for the fabrics. Wow. And some of her fabrics are just so fun and bright and colorful. And then she does have stuff that's like maybe a little bit more toned down, but she also makes like collections. So if you bought, a number of fabrics in that line, all the colors would coordinate, even though the patterns are very different. Anyways, I just think it's the cutest flippin' little bag and very perfect for a little sock project. So that's what I wanted. I wanted a couple of drawstring bags because I have a lot of zippered bags, which I like because stuff stays in, it doesn't go anywhere. But for times when I'm somewhere where I'd like to be quiet when I open my bag, like I teach yoga, and when everyone's in Shavasana and lying quietly on the floor, I can't lie. The worst, because I'm like, I could probably put like 3 or 4 rows on this sock if I get in there, and I'm like, click, 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 because I'm trying, it sounds so loud when everybody is so quiet. So yeah, fitting my Molly Weasley by Nomadic Yarns little toe up sock, which
It worked out the same as last week, isn't it?
Well, it was
No, it's
actually
not.
probably a little bit longer last week. I had 2
Okay.
sections of the brown, but again, I had said last week that I needed to try it on because it looked too wide, and I tried it on and it was too wide. So I had to go back and
Yeah,
then
that looks better. Last week you really could see it was like this skinny peak, and then it really did like, yeah, that looks like
I
a
don't
sock.
get why that happens. I don't really understand. Anyways, the worst part was trying to bring it back to just before my last increase, because the increases were in this, the last increases were in this darkest section. I could not see them for the life of me. I'm like, like looking and trying to like pull the stitches apart and like feed it all through, frog it all, out, and then realize that I had like missed the increase on one side, but not on the other. I was like, oh my goodness. So I actually have like 1 or 2 more stitches on one side than the other. I was like, I don't even care. Like it fits, and that's all that matters. It's a sock. Nobody will be able to tell that. So now it's like, has a little bit of negative ease, which is like, it's not too tight. It's not tighter than I would like, but it was like definitely having some positive ease last time. And as I said, or when I tried it on with what I had last time, and what I said is I would prefer right on or slight negative ease than too much positive ease, because it'll just stretch out more. So I can't remember how many stitches I have on now, but on my 2.75s, because it's sport weight, I'm quite happy with them. Happy to get back to them. Miles is back to the dentist tomorrow because they were able to fit us in for a short notice appointment to fix a filling in one of his front teeth that popped out. So he has like a little teeny hole that is quite visible right between his front teeth. So he's back to the dentist tomorrow, so I will have time to probably work on those. And my last WIP, so this was my other sick day pickup. So excited about it. I have had this on the needles for EVs, which not really for EVs, since the spring. So I figured out, I went back in my Ravelry, or not in my Ravelry, in my Instagram and in my emails to figure out when I had actually bought this yarn. I bought this yarn in March, end of March. It arrived like early April-ish. And I don't recall exactly when I cast this on. So the pattern is Abalone by Hedgehog Fibers, who is the dyer of this yarn. I can't remember her real name. I want to say it's Beata something. So the yarn is Hedgehog Fibers on worsted. It's a potluck colorway. So potlucks are ones that she just dyes, and it's the only one of this, or the only ones of this that will ever exist. She might create something similar, but it's not a repeatable colorway. So I had seen it, happened to catch one of her updates, seen it. I try to avoid her updates because bad things happen. But for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get on there. And I ordered like too many things. Anyways, so I ordered 3 skeins of this colorway because I thought, yeah, I'll do something bigger. And then I was searching around trying to see, maybe I could do a sweater. So that's what Abalone is. I'll pop in a picture because the pattern picture, I printed it back black and white. So it's not like the best, hard to tell. But it's just like a little open cardi. It's not meant to fit all the way closed. It's meant to be a little bit open. But I actually added a little bit more length, or a little bit more width, a few more stitches this way so that it should be able to kind of fit on top of or over my bust a little bit more rather than just hanging open.
Yeah, I can just imagine. No, I'm just picturing you putting this sweater on, and it's just like beautiful frame for your bust.
Well, this is what happens, right? It's like same with like even cowls and necklaces and all these things is like, yeah, I'm not super busty, but I'm busty enough and shapely enough that, yeah, if something fits open, it like hugs around, and it's almost like wearing vertical stripes, like it just creates this little like curved line right around that basically is like I feel like, and it probably isn't, but I feel like it's like a neon sign going, look at my boobs. So I was like, I want it to be able to fit like on top of so that I feel like, and so that I have those Jul leather closures. So I was like, I could, if I wanted to, actually hopefully layer it together and put like a leather closure there and actually have it stay closed if for some reason I felt like that was required. So literally when I picked this up on sick day, I had like this much, like 2 or 3 inches at the bottom. So in the last few days, and I don't even know why I stopped. And at the time that I stopped, I was seriously contemplating frogging this out because I was like, well, I don't know. I'm not really enjoying it. It's like a lot of purling and la la la. I don't know if like my speed picked up since then or what, but I picked it up and like just whipped through the rest of it. And I was like, why did I put this down? Like this is like the easiest freaking knit in the world. So it was like, I think the pattern calls for 40 centimeters before you split for the armpits or for the sleeves, I guess is the nicer way to say that. So 40 centimeters. I think I went slightly shorter because the border will add about 4 inches. So I just didn't want it to be too long. And I didn't want to run out of yarn because I only had 3 skeins. And the pattern calls for a little bit more than what I had because she knit it in a different base. She knit it in like worsted single base. So I'm guessing those cakes were a little bit different yardage. So I really thought I was going to be in like a bad shape for yarn. Well, I finished one side. So this is like this side, and then this is the back. And I only have this side to go. And it doesn't have, it's not supposed to have like sleeves. It's basically just a border, like it's knitting the border around the armhole. So I was like, I have way more than enough yarn. So I might add a bit more sleeve. I got to think about it because typically when I do that, when I try to go off pattern on things that I don't have a lot of experience knitting, bad things happen. So
But you can always bring it back.
Yeah, totally. I just like, it's frustrating when
I think
it's committed in my head to, it's going to have sleeves. And then I do it and I'm like, oh, that's a mess.
To me, I don't know, maybe it's the weight of yarn or the colors or something. It looks like it should have even like, yeah, that's not 3/4. What do you call that kind of a sleeve? Just before your elbow.
Like a half sleeve. I call that like a half sleeve.
Right. I think
that's what I was thinking. Like maybe go to the elbow-ish or just above. So it's like not interfering with the bend. Yeah. But the problem is like, because it's not written to have sleeves, it's like figuring out the decreases so it actually fits nice and not like a tube. You know what I mean? Like not just like a.
Whose arm decreases at that point? No one does.
I don't know. Mine does. I probably have more arm here than I do at my elbow. You want a little bit of taper, don't you?
But you're going to go above your elbow. Whatever. You play with it.
I figured it. Anyway, so I will probably add a little bit of sleeve. And then initially in my head, because I thought I was going to run out of yarn, I assumed that I would have to do that border. Because what you do is like at the end of this side, it's going to Kitchener to the back. And then you'll have like a little bit of space. And then the other side will Kitchener. And then, so it'll kind of actually look like this, even though that's back. And then you're going to join or pick up stitches all the way around to knit this like big wide border.
Right.
They'll go like down and around the back and whatever. So initially I thought I was going to have to do that in a contrasting color to make it work. Now that I don't think I'm going to run out of yarn, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I kind of had just pictured it in my head with this contrasting border.
And I think that the pattern you showed, it looked like it was darker there. It's black and white.
I'm pretty sure in the actual one she did it the same. Anyway, so what I now think I might do, I might stripe it because the border is just garter stitch, even though it'll be knit in the round. It'll just be like knit one round, purl one round. And I kind of like garter stitch with a stripe because I think it always like kind of looks interesting. So I might stripe it. So I got like, you know, this color that's kind of browny, kind of gray with these speckles of all different colors. A lot of blue and purple, let's say, is the predominant, but there's like little pops of yellow and little pops of pink and a little bit of like this weird rusty red orange color. But so I might stripe the border with one of these. So this one's pesto. So it's like neon greens and some darker greens and teensy bit of purple and blue. And I just find it like a really interesting color. And then this one is birthday cake. So it's mostly purple and pink, kind of tonal almost, with a little bit of orange and blue.
Oh, that hedgehog as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're all the same base, so I know they'll play nicely together that way. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm not sure. Pesto, birthday cake.
do up some more of this, because that's gonna be the last thing you do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's
Color.
like whether you want it to be lighter or darker.
I think in my head I pictured it with the birthday cake more, but I just thought like maybe that'll be like overpowering. So I was like, maybe I should do the pesto, but I feel like the birthday cake will make more sense.
I tend to gravitate towards purple if you give me the option to wear. So I'm like, for that reason, I'm like, I think that, but I agree with you. Maybe it would be nice to have something lighter,
Yeah,
right around your bust, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just worry, it's like purple is like almost like a pseudo neutral in my wardrobe because I do wear a lot of purple and more colors in that palette. So it's like it would work well with like probably everything I own. But then at the same time, I'm like, it's like this is like light, so it kind of reads like a neutral too. I just worry that like the neons, depending on where things pop out, if you just see too much of the neon-y greens, then that, I don't know.
No, I'm starting to now I'm starting to picture that more, even when you see on greens.
I feel like the light is not good for this, but
Yeah, it's blowing.
anyways, yeah. Either way, I'm quite proud of myself that I've gotten to that point. Now I'm like so determined to just get to the end of it because I'm like, I don't know why that just sat in a bag for so long. Like I knew it was there. I'd seen it. I'd looked at it several times. I was like, I don't want to go back to it. I'm not excited about it anymore. And then I just like, yeah, picked it up. And there was seriously like the one day that I was like at my sickest. It was Sunday, I think. I was lying on the couch like, I'm too sick to knit because my joints just hurt. My hands hurt. And I picked it up then and was like, maybe I'll just, it's like, because I knew it was just straight stockinette. So I was like, okay, I can't mess this up. And it was like, as soon as I got to the end of a row, I was like, all right, I can knit more on this. And like slowly like work through a row until slowly work through a row. And that's when I started. I was a good girl and I striped together the colors because I had the forethought of, or I had the realization that the first ball that I had joined in for the bottom was predominantly a little bit lighter than the next two balls that I had. And I was like, if I don't stripe this together, I'm going to have like a line across my back. So I was good and I striped together and I even striped together on the sides. And just this morning, I was like, oh, I'm going to get to the end of the back so I can put it on the holder. I yarn chickened the F out of this bee. I was like, I knew I was close to the end. I didn't realize I was that close to the end until I did that last stitch and then went like, I was like, oh, it's done. I was like, yeah, that's how you win it, yarn chicken. It's like, it's almost not enough to weave in, but it'll be fine. Once I Kitchener it all together, I'll figure out a way to tuck it in. So when I do the next side, I'll join in the second ball for there to make sure I keep up with the striping, even though I don't think it'll matter that much anymore. But yeah, I was quite proud of myself being a good girl. Anyways, and in other sweater knitting news,
I'm at like 10%. So, and I don't have my charger.
All right, quick fast. Last night so my other job, I'm the training coordinator for a company called Salsa Babies. We teach mom and baby dance.
Salsa Babies. It didn't come out. It was like
Salsa Babies.
I was gonna say, you're really promoting the Belly Zinc today, though.
Yeah, it's true. I like this shirt. It just fits well. I also look up Belly Zinc. If you have a pelvic floor, if you are a woman with a pelvic floor, unless yours has been removed for some reason, look up Belly Zinc. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway, so I'm the training coordinator for Salsa Babies. And I share my work office with my craft room / yarn stash / dump everything in and close the door and run away. So last night I was like, shoot, I have to facilitate a training online. So I'm basically like this, training other instructors, and I need my office to dance around in. And it was like overflowing with just yarny mess. So I was like, shoot, I got to organize this. So I started putting all my yarns that had been earmarked for sweaters into one box just to keep it all together. I may or may not have 6 or 7 sweater quantities worth of yarn that I need to knit in 2018. So when I said 2018 is the year of the sweater for me, I was not lying, because it's like every time I saw something, I was like, oh, I'd like a sweater out of that. It's like, and sweater quantities, like, let's be realistic, they probably won't all, it's not like long sleeve, like ginormous sweaters. Like, it's like I have 3 skeins of it and I want to make a sweater. Whether or not it's even enough to make the sweater I want to make, I don't know. But yeah, so I have like 3 skeins of this, 3 skeins of that, 3 or 4 skeins of this. I have 2, oh my gosh, I should have brought them up. 2 yarn babies, like 2 oversized skeins from Casual Fashion Queen. One's called Moonchild and one's called Love Galore, that are like 1,000 yards, that are like perfect for like a long sleeve, just like fingering weight something pullover. One I think I'm gonna make a pullover, the other one I'm not sure. Yeah, I was like putting them all together in a box. I was like, have some knitting to do. It's like, and that's not like all the yarn I have. There was lots of other stuff too, but I was just like, I'm gonna need to do something about this. Anyways, so if you're wanting to knit some shawls, I was thinking we should go stash diving and you should put together a 2 or 3 color shawl to plug away at over the next however long.
Yeah.
I have a couple things that I like intentionally had together for shawls or like bigger cowls. But a couple things I think you might enjoy, like you might want to knit on. So there's one in particular that's in the back of my mind, a ho-he pattern for a long cowl that I'll show you if you want to knit on that.
Yes, I would like.
Even just for yourself, not necessarily for me, but I was just thinking, yeah.
You know, either or. I don't have the budget. I'm stay-at-home mom now. My husband's the sole income earner, the only income earner in our house now, and we're doing the homeschooling. So I'm like, I just need projects to work on. But I can't really put my budget towards me for right now, anyhow. So yeah, I don't even care if I get to keep it or not. I just want to work on something. Yeah.
Well, as we've discussed before, I have way more knits than I can possibly wear in a week. Right. So I don't necessarily need more knitted items to wear, but I want to see the yarn knit into nice, pretty things. So yeah. Anyways, on that note, on low battery and my husband texting me because I'm supposed to go to his work to get my snow tires put on. Let's wrap it up. So yeah, cowl details should be on Ravelry now. I was gonna say just really quick fast, we're actually kind of like a week behind on posting. So it's like we're recording this now, but I'll actually be posting last week's recording today. I'm still just figuring out the whole editing thing. It's just, yeah, I'm not really a techie person, so playing around with all of those bits and bobs is a little tricky for me. But yeah, at some point we will try our best to have a more regular schedule. We have a regular schedule for recording, but a more regular schedule for posting promptly so that we can, you know, when we actually talk about things will be more relevant time-wise. So I really want to get that last week's episode posted so that you guys have the cowl details and can hopefully join us to cast on December 1st, because I realize that December 1st is sneaking up on me faster than I realized. It's like insane to me, like that we're almost back at Christmas. Like I don't know where this year went. Gone.
Yeah. But you said there's 3 members in our group as of this morning. Is that for the cowl or just in our group?
I don't have a cowl thread up, so it's just we have 3 members in our group. Yay! So I will put the link to the group. I will start putting it always in the drop down. It's the On the Lamb. I think I put On the Lamb designs and podcasts. So if you have pattern questions or whatever with my stuff, you can look there, and also podcast stuff will be there. I'll always just put the details in the down bar because it's just easier than me trying to go there to post, like say show notes. For now, we may change that down the road, but yeah. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe so that you know when our next video is coming, join the group, introduce yourself because we'd love to know who's watching us so it doesn't feel like we're just talking to space, and or just talking to each other because we do that lots too. Yeah.
Join the cow.
Join along. Knit something inspired by elf.
Yeah, I want to see what other like elf creations there would be.
Mm-hmm.
I really want someone to do like spaghetti and candy. Like, what would that look like?
I want like, yeah, an amigurumi, like some kind of like stuffed animal that looks like, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Anyways,
cool.
Yeah. Let us know what you're knitting, crocheting, etc. And yeah, we'll chat with you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Yarn on, people.
Yarn on.